Magic sigils, how to create and use them. That's what I'm talking about today. Hi, I'm Tanya, and I'm coming out of Aradia's closet to help you create, cultivate, and live a more magical life. Creating a magic sigil is a very simple yet powerful form of magic, and it's one of my go-tos. So, very simply, you first have to come up with your statement of purpose. What is the reason for creating the sigil? And right now for me, if you're following along with me on Facebook, you'll know that I'm doing a lot of work with Bob Proctor and Napoleon Hill using Think and Grow Rich as my guide right now. So I took one of the statements that Bob Proctor has suggested and I wrote down on a piece of paper. And it simply says, I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. Okay, so that's a little bit more complicated than most of the sigils I create. Most of them are for a very simple purpose, like I am healthy, or something that, whatever it is that your statement of purpose is, and you just write that sentence down on a piece of paper as concisely as possible. But this is their suggestion, so I'm using that right now. Then the next thing that I do is I go through and cross out all of the repeating letters. So then I have whatever's left over, and I go to my chart of Norse Runes, which has an equivalent letter of the alphabet to it, and I find out what the rune is for the letters that I had left over. So this is what I ended up having left over from my statement of purpose. Now here's where it gets a little bit artsy. You take those symbols that are left over, your Norse runes, and you same thing with the letters, cross out the repeating things. You find the repeating patterns in the runes themselves, and you come up with your sigil. So what I like to do is I'll put it on a piece of parchment paper, or even a piece of flash paper. Sometimes I've done that, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But you put it on a piece of paper, and then what you want to do is you want to take your smudge stick, which I talked about in my last video, and you want to smudge the paper so you can cleanse it of negative energies or whatever's on the paper, and then you can charge it with positive energies. So after you've smudged the paper, then you sit down in a quiet place and you meditate upon the sigil, and you meditate upon your statement of purpose. Simple enough, right? So when you're ready, you can do all kinds of different things. And here's the other fun, creative part of it. You can take your sigil and you can fold it up into a piece of paper and you carry it on your person, which I will sometimes do. You can carry it on your person until that particular thing has come to manifestation. Or you can take the picture or the sigil and tape it up around your house, like I am happy and healthy. Simple enough, right? I am happy and healthy. And you can take that and stick it, on your front door or on your bathroom mirror, or anywhere that you'll see the sigil. Because it keeps, you might not remember what the sigil actually was, but in your subconscious mind, which is the man that's driving the boat, it's going to remember, and it's going to keep that going for you. I am happy and healthy. I'm happy and healthy. Part of shifting your paradigm. Another thing that I like to do sometimes is I'll take a piece of flash paper and write my sigil on it. And then in a moment of ritual, I will light, if you don't even about flash paper, you light it and just whoosh, like that. It burns up really fast and goes into the ether. So I will, touch it to a candle and there it goes. Or again, depending on what your statement of purpose is, you can take it and you can bury it in your garden or your front yard. There's so many different ways that you can do it. Sometimes I'll make a little magic package, a little gree-gree, and I'll put the sigil in the gree-gree. And again, with the gree-gree, I'll do that too. I'll either burn it or throw it in water, depending on what that is. And we'll talk about that in another video. But simply put, write down your statement of purpose, cross out all the repeating letters, take those letters and find the equivalent Norse rune using a Norse rune alphabet. Then get creative and combine those runes that you come up with into one rune, one sigil. Then sit down, smudge the sigil, and then for me, I'm going to be carrying this on me. I'm going to fold this up and just stick it in my pocket so that every time I reach my hand into my pocket, it's going to trigger that for me. I hope you find it useful. Like I said, it's one of my favorite forms of magic. Thanks for joining me. If you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And don't forget to follow me on Facebook. Remember, the hardest part is getting started.